Hello, it is me you are looking for. I can see it in your eyes. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Taking Up Space with Jordan. I'm your host, Jordan, and today's episode is going to be a little short and sweet because it goes with our theme, which today we are going to talk about the season of prioritizing fun. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because, I am a productive girly. I am known in my circle of people to kind of get an idea in my head and run with it. And that's my whole life. And I did it with the podcast. I've been doing it with writing lately. And while both those things bring me a lot of joy and fun, I'm also still just a person that has to get through life and do all the things. And what I have found is that I need to have fun in my life in order for me to be a productive human in society, in order for me to, get my laundry done, make sure my home is clean. I need to also be having fun in my life. And I don't think I realized at the beginning of this month that needed to be more of a priority for me, but it kind of slowly and now is almost an everyday thing where I have been prioritizing fun. I have been prioritizing joy and whimsy. And I kind of want to talk about that real quick with you because I think this is something that more and more of us need to start incorporating, especially if you are a person of color, especially if you're a woman, if you're queer. Honestly, I'll even throw it in there, especially if you're a goddamn man. I think a lot of people would be a lot happier if they just started prioritizing fun, and we'd probably start getting out of other people's business. So let's talk about fun. So the reason I started incorporating fun more in my life is I noticed that even on my happiest of days, let's say I wasn't really having to work or do anything like that, if I was just kind of sitting around, I found myself getting down on myself because I'd be like, oh, well, you could do this, you could do that. And then I realized I was taking myself way too seriously when I saw this TikTok. But it basically was this therapist talking about how one of her clients was basically going through the motions of their day super fast. Like they were trying to clean really quick, make dinner really quick. Everything was quick, 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 quick. And then so they started slowing down. Like when they're brushing their teeth, they would be brushing them really hard and really quickly. And then they stopped and they slowed down and they said, this is not an emergency. And the reason that this TikTok stood out to me so much is because that's kind of what I was doing. I was trying to always rush through the motions of things just to check off my to-do list as soon as possible so I could say, look what I did. Look at me. I did all these things. I'm a productive human in society. Give me reward. And guess what? I wasn't being rewarded because I was treating the to-do list as if I got everything done, that meant that I was this superhuman. But what I was doing was burning myself out, not prioritizing fun, not feeling like I was in control of my life. And I was constantly having to listen to this arbitrary to-do list that I was creating because someone else on TikTok said that I needed to be doing all these things. And the thing is I don't need to be doing shit. I need to do what makes me feel good. And so I started prioritizing fun. And guess what? My personal life, she's chaotic right now. There's a lot going on that is outside of my control, but I have never been more relaxed. I have never felt more chill, more joy, more happiness than I have this month, even with all the things that are outside of my control. And it's because I'm prioritizing having fun. And I started first by doing this by kind of getting in touch with my inner child because I had just finished the first draft of my book and I was super excited about it. And then I was like, well, what next? What do I do? I don't know. Because I had 2 to 3 days that I needed to just step away from it and do something else. But I wanted to still do something that was creative and fun. And then I remembered my friend for Christmas had gotten me a watercolor packet. So I said, we always wanted to try that. Let's do it. So I sat down one night and I started being bad at it. And I was really bad. They're not great. I'll post a picture right here. It looks fine. I think I saved it a little bit. But for the first time, I found myself doing something not because I was good at it, not because it was productive, but just because it was fun. I should have probably podcasted that night. I should have probably, done my laundry or gone to bed on time. But no, I stayed up till midnight watercoloring. And guess what? The world didn't end the next day because I didn't get my full 8 hours of sleep. I woke up with a smile on my face. And especially when I walked over to my desk and I was like, look at what I did. That was so cool. And so I think when we start getting in touch with that inner child, doing the things that actually bring us a little joy, bring us a little whimsy, get us out of our routines, are the things that are going to make us happier in our lives. And I think part of that is slowing down and recognizing that we are not in a state of emergency. And I know I can say that in a place of privilege right now. That is something that I'm hyper aware of, in that I live in what is considered a safe city, and I am a citizen of the United States. I am, well, honestly, that doesn't actually really make you safe anymore, but I'll leave that part in there. But for the most part, I feel safe in my life, and I think that that is a privilege, is what I'm trying to get to. And so I don't need to keep putting myself in situations, or basically generating a sense of fight or flight in my day-to-day life. And I think that's what I'm trying to get to, is there's so many of us who are, for the most part, in a heightened state of awareness of what is going on in the world, but we still kind of have to live our lives. We still kind of have to do the things. And I'm sure someone's going to say that sounds tone deaf, but I'm like, it's not. We are still trying to exist in this world. We are still trying to pay our bills. We are still trying to have jobs and have goals and have lives. And if I'm the one that needs to say it, I'll say it, because it sucks out there right now, but I'm still going to prioritize trying to have fun in my life. I'm still going to try to be a person that can smile, because in my mind, that is my form of resistance. That is my form of the middle finger to our government. By me not losing hope that fun cannot be a priority, by me continuing to choose to show up in a world that doesn't really like the color of my skin or what I have to say, by me just existing, that is my form of resistance. That is my form of taking back my power and my control. So when you are thinking about fun, I know that there can be that sense of, well, I feel guilty because of insert whatever atrocity has happened on the news. I think when we are trying to have fun, we're not trying to do it in a way that is like we're extorting somebody. We're not trying to do it in a way of monetization. We are trying to do it in a way of, I need to feel safe in my life again. And this is how you do it. You slow down. You prioritize your community. You take a breath. You remember that you are not in a state of an emergency. If you are brushing your teeth, slow down. The dentist recommend 2 minutes, not 30 seconds. So brush your teeth. Look at how pretty you are in the mirror. Do a little dance while you're doing it. It's okay. You can have fun in small little micro ways and still also be aware of what is going on in the world and what the atrocities are happening. I do want to do a little bit of a pivot though, because I mentioned this. I think another part of having fun is prioritizing your community again. Being a part of a community means sometimes that you're going to be inconvenienced. Means that, yeah, you don't get to just lay on the couch and watch TV all day. You do need to go and hang out with your friends, because we need our community now more than ever. We need the community laughter. We need to be joyful. We need to make sure that we're continuing to be a part of our friend groups and expanding our friend groups, so people know that they are safe with each other and that they feel a sense of community and strong bonds. Because when they start to separate us, when they start to isolate us to our homes, that's when the others start to win. And we don't want that. We want to continue to have fun. We want them to hear our laughter while we're walking around Green Lake. We want them to hear our songs of joy, our praise of joy, as we're talking about our goals and talking about, all the things that we've accomplished. When we don't keep ourselves silent, when we don't hide ourselves away, what we are doing is we are showing them that you cannot hide all of us. You cannot isolate all of us. We are a community. That's why Minnesota's protests and gathering and like their community, that's why it is so amazing and beautiful and sacred, is because they are gathered in thousands. And that is amazing. Do you think that they want to be out in negative 30-degree weather? Do you think they want to be doing this? No, but they are showing up for each other. And they're showing up for the people that can't show up because they are part of a community. The last part of having fun that I really want to talk about, and I want to make sure that people are starting to prioritize, is playing. We need to get back into playing. We need to get back into self-discovery. When I think about the times that I've had the most fun with my friends, it has been when we were doing something like painting or playing with clay or going even to those little like touch pools safely follow the rules. If you're going to go do those at the aquarium, do them safely. But those are fun. Getting in touch with that inner child, playing, getting outside of our heads and getting outside of the norm and just remembering that there's more to life, I think is so powerful. And I think when we are not playful, when we are not joyful, when we are not giving ourselves, our nervous systems, the opportunity to just relax, to just have fun, to not do something productive, what ends up happening is we start seeking those things out. We start trying to find joy in all of the small ways. I mean, when was the last time you played with bubbles? Bubbles. I know, sounds ridiculous. A 31-year-old female playing with bubbles. But guess what? I did that a couple weeks ago. I played with bubbles with my dogs out at the dog park, and I was blowing bubbles for them and they were chasing them, and I didn't record it. I didn't take pictures. I didn't tell anybody until now because it was just a moment of joy for me. And it was fun. And I got to play. And not in a way that like, oh, my dogs got exhausted from this and this was so fun and this is a new dog mom hack. No, not in that way. I got to do it in a way that just made me laugh, made me giggle to see these two 95-pound dogs jumping up and down, trying to get the bubbles, and they're not catching them. And then they'd pop in their face and they'd go like this and scrunch up their faces. And I loved that. I've also just been listening to more comedians on podcasts. I'm not listening to the self-growth ones as someone who has like a self-growth podcast, but Caleb Heron, Drew Afuela, is it Brittany Broski? Brittany Broski's Good Hang by Amy Poehler. You know, just things that are fun, things that make me laugh. And when you start laughing more, when you find yourself smiling, you are naturally creating serotonin and dopamine in your body, which are the happy hormones. And that's what having fun is about. It's just trying to find joy and happiness in a very dark time. And so that's what the podcast is about today, is I want people to start having more fun. If you want to go dancing, go dance. If you want to blow bubbles, blow bubbles. Stop being worried about being embarrassed. Stop being worried about looking unproductive or not looking like a good societal human being. Well, who the fuck cares what that is anymore anyways? Just go and have a little joy. Stop taking yourself so seriously. Stop being afraid to be embarrassed and make mistakes and, you know, look, who cares? That's one thing that I miss about being a child, is that I wish I knew what it was like again to not be aware of other people's judgment. Because when you're a kid and you're just doing things like running around in the yard, playing with your imagination, you don't care. You're not embarrassed. At some point that changed. And I'm trying to get back to that. I'm trying to get back to the playing in my yard. I'm trying to get back to the not caring what other people are thinking, not feeling embarrassed for having a big imagination, for blowing bubbles or doing the things that I want to do. And I hope that you can find that too. So find a way to have some joy this week, because if we can fill the world with more joy, I just have a sneaky suspicion that life would be a whole lot better. So wherever you are, find some joy, find some happiness. Do it in a way that makes sense to you, not for productivity, not for monetization, not for posting on social media, but just for sillies and fun. Let's do it. Kisses. So I don't normally add on to the podcast after it's already been recorded. If you're watching this via video, you can see that I'm sitting in my little office that's on the side of my kitchen. There's cookie or a KitchenAid mixer out, and because I'm baking cookies, because I still have the privilege of being able to go and hang out with my friends and connect with them. But when I was recording this episode, something terrible happened to a human being, and I'm feeling a specific way about this episode because I think it is so hard to understand what is going on in this world or what is going on in America right now, when we grew up saying home to the land and the free, and we grew up learning about these atrocities that were happening in other countries, and now they're happening here. And it feels silly to say, go out and have fun and go out and do things that bring you joy, when you could just be a bystander to something and you try to help somebody and you're ultimately punished for it in the worst way possible. So I just wanted to come on after the episode is over and just say, if you are someone like me right now who is trying to find joy, who is trying to find the silver lining, who is trying to find a sense of community and just feel like I can exist in a world where I'm not also feeling guilty for living my life, I'm right there with you. It's really hard right now. And so if you do have people out there in the world that care about you and appreciate you, just try and go and hang out with them. Try to remember the community members that you have and honestly give each other a hug. I'm not someone who's a big like physical touch person, but I could use a hug right now. And tomorrow I'm going to be very grateful and thankful to be around the people that I have in my life, and I'm going to cherish the moments that I have with my dogs today. And this is a little rambly at the end, but honestly, this is post editing, post being in my thoughts. And I just always like to be as honest with you guys as possible because honesty is transparency. And I believe in it to probably a fault sometimes. But so try to regulate your nervous system in any way that you can. Maybe it's listening to your favorite podcast that's silly and goofy. Maybe it's watching your favorite movies, it's coloring, it's going out on a walk. But whatever you do, just remember you're not alone in feeling guilty for going out and living your life and trying to go after your dreams when there are actual atrocities that are happening. It feels like just next door. So you're not alone in feeling guilt. But just as a reminder, you still have permission to live your life. You still have permission to go out and have fun. You can be upset with what's going on and still be able to smile and appreciate the life that you have today. Two things can be true at once. And so that's kind of how I wanted to end it, because there was so much going on today that if you're listening to this on the day that it comes out, you are probably still feeling the emotions. And I just wanted to document that it's really hard right now. Give yourself some space, give yourself the chance to feel all the feelings that you need to feel. And don't try to bury them, because we need to be upset right now. We need to be gathering. We need to be showing up for the people that don't have voices right now. And that's all that we can do. But that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for listening to today's episode. And sorry to end on a little bit of a bummer.